Hello, everyone. This is Chala Dinkoy, CEO and founder of the Repositioning Expert, coming to you live with another Tuesday Tea Time with Chala. I have my trusty, tea holder, which came with my new toy that I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I guess if you've been following me, you know what it is. But it holds heat so well, you guys. I'm talking to you with a scalded mouth. I've been sucking on ice chips. I can't even, I put like cold tea in here and it's not even tea, it's like protein drink. Anyway, so we're having a sort of a fake tea time with Chala, but all good, all is good. Things are really exciting. Things are growing, plans are being made. Everybody I know, including me, is making international travel plans. I am so excited. I'm making plans to come to the US for the first time. My God, it's been so long. I'm making plans to go international. It's just a very exciting time. So the topic of today is not a very exciting topic. It's like boring. It's like websites, right? And the reason why I'm talking about it is because, of course, it comes up with my clients every day that I talk to them. And this one has come up and is very, very top of mind for the client that I talked to today. So I always like to use these Tuesday Tea Times for opportunities to use my clients' pain points to address my general audience at large, because I have a homogeneous audience who are B2B vendors who are trying to sell to bigger companies and who are trying to look bigger, sell faster, get in and convert and get those meetings. So I'm going to tell you about, I'm going to go for as long as I have, and I have a huge list. And the other thing that happened is I'm having kind of like a weird day today, but yesterday my Apple Pencil broke. So I normally do it on my iPad. And so this is completely like on paper. It's like old fashioned, you guys. It's so old fashioned. And, you know, I keep them in sequence and then I use them as files and then I use them to write my blogs. But this time, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Maybe I could take a picture or something. I don't know. So I'm geeking out on techno speak because we're talking about websites. So you know that I like to talk about mistakes a lot because 70% of humans purchase based on pain. And if you're making a mistake, it's costing you a lot of money. But let me tell you what some of those mistakes that I see and what in 2022, especially because websites have become so incredibly important because of COVID and because of the lack of in-person purchasing and the shift to online purchasing and self-purchasing and self-guided journeys. Well, I'm going to tell you here that it's costing you a lot of money. So 73% of B2B buyers today look at a supplier's website before they ask for a contact or for more information. So if your website is turning them off, it's leaving a lot of money on the table. It's losing you a lot of business. So why might that be? And remember, this is circa 2022, so that I'm going to talk a little bit about the new look, the new trends, the new technology, and some of the old fundamentals. So some of the old fundamentals is mistake number one is if your website is a brochure, if you're using it as a brochure versus a lead gen funnel. So what do I mean by that? If it's a pretty beautiful, glossy, image and information repository, that's a brochure. And that's wonderful, but that doesn't necessarily convert into business. And that's what I want for your website to be, is to literally become a lead funnel for you, for people to actually go to your website and be compelled and have the means and the resources and the channels and the funnels to be able to reach you, to book a call with you, and then to convert into an actual meeting and a sales presentation for you. That's what your website should be. So, and if I'm going to go through some of the other elements that it might be missing in these mistakes, and in order to allow you to turn it into a sales funnel. So that's the first mistake, is if you look at your website and it's just pretty and info, but it's not converting, you already know if it's not working for you. Let me take a sip with my hurting tongue with cold, whatever it is. Okay. it's still hurting, guys. I was almost going to Google, like, how do you take care of like a burnt tongue? If anybody knows how, let me know. I think it's time. So that was the first mistake. So the second mistake is no focused single message based on a pain point you solve. So I understand that you solve a multitude of problems. I understand that you solve it for a lot of people, and that a lot of different industries and different interest groups have different pain points. But if you could potentially hone in on the biggest one that you want to double your business in, or the biggest, most expensive problem that's relevant to the people that you're targeting today in the market, that's what if I could dream, that's what I would change your billboard messaging. And for me, a website is a billboard. What is a billboard messaging? It is literally a 1-second flash of the concise message of how you help someone. When somebody goes to your website, they should not be in any doubt about the most expensive problem you solve and for who. If they're confused about that, if you're confused about that, then your website's not going to convert. It's not going to work. It's just going to be a brochure. It's going to be a repository of information. Mistake number 3 is too much info. Lean is the new black, right? Cull it down, summarize it, thin it out, and then carry it into other ways to funnel it out. So what do I mean by that is if somebody in that certain segment or industry or in that pain point wants to know more about a certain topic, instead of throwing it up as info and data on your website, why not allow them to download it in exchange for their own information, where you can track, call them back, and actually make them into a prospect? Or you can, it doesn't have to be that you're inviting them into a meeting. You could invite them to view something, or to download something, or to set up something, or to attend something of value about that specific pain point or specific industry that they're in. So the whole idea is to thin out your website content by sectioning it and hiding some of the information that you're giving to everyone by structuring it and staggering it through the stage of interest, if that makes any sense. So think about what that might look like for you. And there are companies, there are web design companies and strategists, and I work with my clients on doing this for where we actually are able to funnel them into the next step. Okay, so that's mistake number 3. Now, mistake number 4 is there's no focused call to action in the website. And what they're recommending in today's websites are at least 1 call to action per page, and it has to be appropriate to what is on the page. So if what's on the page is your services, you may want to funnel them into to see more of our services in action, click on our YouTube channel link, or appropriate to, let's say, if it's your podcast page, if you have one, then you could get them to, the call to action could be to become a guest. If it's your blog page, the call to action on that page could be to subscribe to a newsletter where they could get them sent regularly. The whole idea is a call to action button is your segue into their information. Now, there are some really sophisticated, amazing stalker devices which know exactly who is visiting your website or who on the web is searching exactly for your keywords in your area or in whatever industry or however you want to cut it. This data is available and it's being sold right now. But if you don't even want to go that far, you want someone who is so willing and hungry to work with you that they will trade what is the most, sacred to them is their information, their email and their name, and maybe the name of their company or whatever other information you want from them, their phone number. Then that's your funnel. Those are the hottest leads. Those are the most interested people that are willing to do that. Now, there are some, and I've done this, there are some that just fill in, gibberish just to be able to download the thing. and they can get away with it, and that's fine. But those are never the people truly interested, right? The truly interested actually know and expect and want you to call them back. So why not do a call to action that's going to allow you to be able to do that? Okay. I don't even know the numbers anymore. I think that was 4. This is going to be 5. Mistake number 5 is thinking about creating a mobile website as the last step. You should be building for mobile first. And the reason for that is because, one, right now, and these numbers are going up every single day. 50% of what's viewed on your website is viewed on mobile. And the other is there are Google rank implications to having a suboptimal mobile website that doesn't connect to your regular website. I am not a techie person. I don't know anything about SEO and technology. I know the bare minimum. Well, what I do understand is mobile is king. You have to have. And yes, for different industries and different categories, but now it's so, it's penetrated the B2B world so much that, especially after COVID, that people are buying, B2B buyers are buying up to $1 million worth of sales, services, and products, and they're doing it on apps, on the vendors' apps. So obviously you need to have a mobile presence, and you need to prioritize it for your website. I think it's number 6 we're on is having endless forms on your website. So instead of having them fill out forms and forms and forms and forms, how about you convert those to quizzes, scorecards? So things that are giving them information about their specific situation, and also revealing which stage of the need and buying that they're at. How about personalization, where it's talking about stepped forms. So if instead of like lists and lists of forms for them to fill out to get any kind of information, why don't you have them funnel them in steps of where they're at in the buyer's journey, or what industry they're in, or what specific segment you would put them in as a viewer, as a prospect. Okay, so that's the other mistake, is that the endless forms. Another mistake is really, it's bad user experience. And what that makes up is, what's that made up of is, what do they need to find, and how can they do it quickly? And there are entire, of course, companies that are, I used to work with some UX, they're called UX companies, user experience companies, and they literally map that out. But that's also something that we do with my clients, which is something that we, if we know their pain, we know the kind of information that they're looking for, and our entire website is a love letter. And I wrote this blog maybe 10 years ago, and literally I got a client the day that went out, because the title of the blog was "Your Website Should Be a Love Letter." And the love letter goes out to a very specific person who is the ideal bullseye of your target avatar. And the love letter is about them, about how they can do better, what's all about them. So remember that as the user experience is, what do they want to find first? What is it, and how easy is it for them to get to without getting tired and getting lost? That's part of the brevity part, right? That's part of the leaning it down and making it very concise. Okay, I've forgotten what the mistake numbers are. So the next mistake for website mistakes is carousels. Oh my God, I hate these so badly, because to me, it is the #1 sign that, and I've had so many clients that have had carousels, because if they don't know their target, what carousels are the flipping photos when you land on the page. It's for people who don't know who their actual target is, and who don't know what their focus is. They'll put everything but the kitchen sink. They'll put every target. They'll put every product or service. They themselves don't know where to focus on and where the website should be focused on. So they put everything in there. And I totally get it. If you have a lot of, you're a huge company, you have a lot of different services, you have a lot of different sectors that you serve. I get that, but it just can't look like that anymore. And of course, so user experience is not a good one to begin with. And then the loading speed is an issue. And of course, my biggest pet peeve from a messaging standpoint is that it's not focused. And just one comes to mind, like one example comes to mind is when a client was a wealth advisor, and she put in her previous, like in her existing site, she put flipping carousel pictures of a family. So like, succession planning. Then she put one of a house because, you mortgage through her. And then she put one of lots of different things that she could do, right? She could do anything because she was a, wealth advisor. And what we changed it to after we re-niched her was divorcing women. And what the message and the picture then said was, if you're a woman thinking of divorce, and you're wondering about your financial situation, we can help you so that you continue your lifestyle, level of lifestyle, which when we researched it was their number one problem. So, and then of course, URL also changed to divorcingwoman.ca. So all those to say is that we changed that carousel from having old people and young people and dogs and houses, because like she seriously thought she could serve everyone. But yet when we repositioned her and niched it, and and this was like 10 years ago, and it's still relevant today, is that carousel really is about being confused, I think, in my mind, and kind of dated, really. Okay, so the next mistake is, of course, broken links. And, I'm guilty of this as well. And I'm actually going to go through another mistake that's causing this is there's really no maintenance. That's the next mistake. No maintenance, no new stuff. So there's got to be, people think that you build it and you leave, but it's not like that. It's just like a house. You have to continually, it's just like a garden, I should say, maybe not like a house, but you have to continually maintain it and keep your hand on it. And you have to make sure that the links aren't broken, you're putting new stuff on, that it continues to convert, that you're looking at the metrics, that you're looking at introducing new offers, new stuff. It's a full-time job. And if you think that you just build your website and it's going to get you clients, it might, but it will work so much better for you as an actual funnel if you actually invest in a human being who knows what they're doing to be able to provide that. And again, that's part of the work that we do with clients to make a plan, which is part of our marketing plan, of what's going to go out on the actual website. And they have to be continually educating, because we do thought leadership marketing, which means you become an expert in one pain point, right? So broken links have to be fixed, and they have to be fixed with redirects, regular audits, your hands in the clay at all times. Okay. And then I already told you about the next mistake, which was the no new stuff or maintenance. And this is a huge pet peeve, because I go to clients' websites, or I go to somebody's website and I look at, let's say, the blog, and the blog is of the date they have, like 3-4 years ago, that the website was built. And there's nothing else, and maybe one or two more, but there's nothing else. There's nothing recent. There's nothing regular. I need you to do regular posts. If you can't do it, and now it's even easier than ever with this new AI, all it takes is a marketing plan and a discipline and some strategy around what is the message, who's the target, what is their pain point, what are the sound bites around their pain points that we can plot in at these different times, and AI pretty much writes it for you. And again, we do AI training with clients for them to be able to either show their teams or do it themselves, and they're the thought starters, and then they could move it off to a third party who could help them. So these are really, really easy ideas of how to keep new stuff coming into your website, because you need to have new stuff in there all the time. You can't just leave it. You can't just leave it. Another mistake is pop-ups. Guilty. I've always used pop-ups. I've taken it off recently, I think in the last year. But so now there's two types of pop-ups. One is for marketing purposes, and the other one is for cookies. So if you think that most websites are going to have the cookies pop up anyway, so people are already annoyed by the first one, and then you're also inputting into that a second time, But the interesting thing is the statistics show that pop-ups actually convert. So here's how to optimize the experience is they have to be super compelling. Don't make the pop-up about sign up for my website. Make the pop-up about save this much, or, you know, meet with me, or come to this, or here's a ticket, a free ticket to attend this event, or join us for this live stream. Like, make it compelling, make it about their pain, right? Don't make it about you, and don't make it like join us, join our newsletter. Like, that is just so old time. Okay. And give, right? Give as much as you can in those pop-ups and make it a funnel. Another mistake, of course, this is a no-brainer, and I think it's my last one, is that it's slow. So this one's really technical, you guys. I mean, that's part of having your fingers in the clay and having somebody on it, their eyes, and all it takes is a VA, really, who's a technical VA. Well, I can introduce you to mine, but like, all it takes is somebody who's a little bit more technical to keep their eye out on what's loading slow. And, you know, first of all, of course, if you work with the proper designer, they're going to, you know, size it properly. They're going to do all the optimization for speed that, you know, a professional would do. What I did with mine is, you know, I had it done by, and it was a custom built, done by a really, really qualified elite professional. And then I've just, you know, paid a VA to do the upkeep. So it's like, you know, you need an architect, a real professional, to actually build it, because you want it to be ongoing, and you want it to be flowing, and you want it to look impressive, and you want it technically to be sound with the proper SEO and the proper loading speeds and the UX, because they'll understand about UX and flow and the pop-ups and all those things. But then don't forget to actually have someone who is keeping their eye on the ball, who's feeding the machine, and who's keeping it lean and working fast and optimally. So those are my mistakes. My God, there's a lot of website mistakes that I wanted to cover. I hope that was helpful, and I wish you a happy website. And I will see you next week, when hopefully my tongue is not burning anymore. All the best, everyone.